everyone, welcome to TopCast. I think that's what we're going to call it, Topical Cast. Where we deal with, every episode's going to be different aspect of life, internet, music, TV, film, everything. And on this first introduction episode, I got to sit and talk with Austin Burrows of Austin Burrows' Positive Life. Some of you may know about it, some of you don't. I hope that this will enlighten you more about it. So what you're going to see now is my conversation with Austin Burrows on Positive Life. So I hope you enjoy it, and here you go. Alright, welcome to, I don't know what I'm going to call this podcast, so this is the first episode. And on this first episode, I have a guest, Austin Burrows. I knew him back when I was doing videos for his band As a Heart Attack, well, old band, I guess. And he's got this new initiative that he's doing called Positive Life. And I'll let him talk about himself, talk about that, and everything else in between. So, without further ado, this is Austin Burrows.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So Austin, I'll let you just go on with your background, and I'll chime in between and stuff like that.
My background. Well, grew up in a small town in Princeton, and was a really rebel kid. Never was into the sportsy stuff until high school, I guess. Skateboarded a lot. Got into high school, didn't feel like I fit in a lot. I didn't drink. I didn't do really anything. I didn't go to parties. So I always tried to fill that void in my life, I guess, and do things that meant something to me and kind of filled that void of losing all my friends once I got into high school. And skateboarded a lot. Ended up playing some sports in high school, but didn't really feel fulfilled doing that. I always felt like I had to be somebody I wasn't, or be better than somebody else, and I didn't like that aspect of sports. So I got into music, and then joined As a Heart Attack.
Was that your first band?
No, in high school we had another band that was with the drummer from As a Heart Attack, and Sam Nelson. And that was a cool, fun little band. It was kind of pretty much like a warm-up band, and then when I joined As a Heart Attack, it kind of was a complete, huge change because we played a little hometown shows, and then we were playing those big monster shows over in Bloomington and opening for pretty big metal bands, and got to meet a lot of cool people. So being in high school and being able to do that. Well, I just knew Sam really well, and I didn't really know the rest of the guys that well. But I pretty much went over to Sam's house one night when a couple of the guys were there, and they were talking about getting rid of a member for their own reasons. And I just mentioned the fact that if they needed someone to step in, then I would love to do that. And I got the opportunity, and it was a pretty sick opportunity, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Met a lot of cool people.
Awesome. And then now you're working on something else.
Yeah, Positive Life. And that all started kind of in a dark part of my life. Recently, I had my 20th birthday, and then I think a week later, I got these headaches, and it was paranoid me, and I never got headaches growing up, so it freaked me out, and I kept thinking, wow, is there something majorly wrong with me that I need to go get checked out, or am I going to die? And I ended up, I was at a community college, and I still am at the time. I'm over at IVCC, and I was with my girlfriend, and I said, I think I need to go to the walk-in clinic because I think there's really something wrong with my head. And we went there, and he was running these tests with me and said, okay, well, I don't see anything alarming right now. Why don't you write me a 2-week list of your symptoms, and we'll come back and we'll go from there. And that freaked me out because usually, when you're a kid and you go to the hospital, they tell you, oh, you just have the flu, or just take 2 Tylenol and you're going to get better. And so I went home and took the Tylenol, wasn't feeling better, kept feeling worse, got more nervous about, maybe this is a brain tumor and maybe I'm going to die. And it kind of turned me into a hypochondriac at the time, and just put me in a really depressed mood and nervous. And then a few days later, I was getting sick in the mornings, not feeling myself, feeling very depressed, and immediately went back to the walk-in clinic before the 2 weeks was even up. And that's when they were starting to realize, maybe he's having kind of a mental breakdown. This is something that we need to get checked out. So they threw me over to get a CT scan of my brain, and I pretty much had a huge panic attack on the way there and broke down in the car. Thought everything was going to go wrong, thought that these results were going to show a tumor and that, my life's going to change forever, and went and got the test. Found out everything was cleared up, and it was like instantly when I heard that news, everything kind of just felt better, and it was the weirdest feeling. I didn't feel sick anymore. I didn't feel nauseated, and I woke up the next morning and I was like, wow, I still feel crappy a little bit after I just had a good night, and it's still here. And so I kept worrying. I'm like, well, now do I have stomach cancer? Now do I have this? And since that happened, I've been to the doctor, I think, 7 or 8 times, and I've had 3 or 4 different tests done, and everything's come back good. And I'm in counseling now, and I'm working through it. And I guess when I was laying on the couch one night in one of my depressed moods, thought the world was ending, I kept thinking, even if I do die, what have I done? I haven't done anything that's helped anybody. I haven't felt fulfilled. So positive life instantly came into my head, and that's kind of how it started.
Now, did it end up being anything, or they just never?
They just diagnosed me with anxiety. I'm on some anxiety medication right now, trying to deal with it, and every day is kind of different. Some days I'll have some muscle tension and headaches, and I won't feel well, and some days are just fine. Usually my mornings are pretty bad, and then my afternoons are pretty good.
Do they ever rule out migraines? Because I know with my mom and my brother, if they have any MSG, they have migraines or puking, and just life's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I thought of that too, and my doctor pretty much told me not to stop thinking about everything and stop worrying about it. And I thought I had what's it called when you get the shaky head, and I can't think of it. It starts with a V.
Vertigo.
Vertigo, yeah. I thought I had that, and then I was thinking migraines, but it's not constant anymore. I mean, it went away once I started my medication, so.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely been a life-changing experience, and just an hour ago I wasn't feeling that well, and now I'm feeling pretty good. So it's weird. It's like an off and on kind of thing. It's hard, but it's one thing I have to learn how to deal with, I guess.
Yeah, that is weird. So now elaborate more on the whole Positive Life initiative thing that you're doing.
Well, I started a blog, and I actually was just laying on the couch one night, and I was like, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to get people involved in what I'm thinking or what I want to do. And I was talking to my girlfriend. She's like, well, start a page. So I started a Facebook page, invited a few friends, and I thought I might get maybe a couple of my high school buddies to check it out. And in a week, I think I reached over 1,000 people, and that really motivated me to keep doing what I was doing. So I started a blog, and the blog is kind of my own personal stories to help people relate maybe with anxiety or stress, or I try to be motivational to people that maybe are in a rut in their life. But I also made it a place where people can write me certain things, about life experiences, and I'll post their stuff if they feel comfortable, and maybe somebody can relate to what they went through, like a loss or something, or an important event in their life that somebody else might be able to relate to. So I really opened it up for everybody else, and it's not just about a me thing, it's a everyone thing.
Right. That's awesome. And we're going to be doing a video for that next week, which I'm excited for.
Oh, me too. I can't wait. The video, I guess, is like me giving back, and I hope we get a few people to show up, and I hope everybody checks it out, and I hope it means something.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, I remember I was reading Lauren's post, or what you posted that she wrote, because I had not heard of the whole positive life thing before that, and I just seen it pop up in my news feed, and I'm like, huh. I got into that. I was reading that, and then I noticed it was you, and then I seen the rest of the blog, and I was just like, whoa. I didn't even know
Yeah,
this was going on.
that's kind of like everyone's initial reaction because I don't think anybody expected me to do it, and I was kind of surprised I wanted to do it in a weird way because I was always kind of shy. Well, not necessarily shy. I mean, I've always had a few friends, but I went through high school and always felt kind of, alone in the aspect that, I wasn't into the parties. I was more into
Just being
things that other kids weren't interested in. I was interested in metal music and skateboarding and
being an introvert.
pretty much. And I didn't feel okay about myself. I felt like I needed to be like that. I felt like I needed to have a bunch of friends to feel good about life, and that's kind of why I wanted to reach out to people and make them feel like, you know what, you can be whoever you want to be, and everyone, I'll accept you for who you are, and there's people out there that's going to accept you for who you are, and that was my intentions. And I have a ton of intentions, but they all kind of correlate in a weird way.
Yeah, like I remember reading that, and I was just like, man, I need to reach out to you because I like. Oh, well, first off, I didn't know what you were doing because like the band broke up, and everybody went off and did their own things, and then I seen that pop up, and I was just like, I kind of want to get involved with this, and that's why I hit you up about doing a video.
Yeah, for sure.
And now
Yeah,
this.
me and Lauren have been best friends since kindergarten. I've always called her my sister, and I reached out to her when when I was starting it because at first I felt like, man, I'm just making this all about me. I don't want I never wanted it to be that. I mean, I wanted it to be me giving something back to the world. And then when I reached out to Lauren, I was hoping that, maybe she'd feel comfortable talking about it. And I'm really glad that she put it out there because I can actually go on and see how many people viewed the blogs that we post. And I think hers is at 5,000 people right now that it's reached out to. And I think that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what got
And
me.
yeah, and that's been pretty much the favorite post, and I'm hoping that I get more like that. I think we actually have. I was talking to some friends that were friends with. I don't know if you know who Cora Peters was, the girl that had cancer that just recently passed away from Bureau Valley. I didn't know her personally, but I wanted to get her friends' story and their side of everything, and shed some light on that because she was an influence on so many people, and I just want to spread her word and get her noticed on everything. And she was a very positive person to a lot of people, so I'm looking forward to reading what they wrote about her and posting that on the blog, and it's pretty cool. I hope that turns out good, and I hope people are happy about it.
Right on, that's awesome. So, what plans do you have for Positive Life, like as in blogs, Facebook, and YouTube, and where you think you're going to be with the future with it, where it's going to go, and how you think you're going to help more people?
Yeah, totally. Since I was in the whole music scene, I reached out to some bands that we played with that were kind of bigger names, and a lot of people probably don't know who Craig Owens from Chiodos is, but I reached out to him, and he was always really supportive of my band in high school, and I always looked up to him in junior high, and always was a big Chiodos fan. So for him to actually go on and like Positive Life on Facebook and write me messages, I mean, that really motivated me and made me feel kind of cool, I guess. But it really made me realize how it's affecting even people that I idolized, and I think that was a cool aspect for me.
That's
But
awesome.
for the future, I just talked to the band Our Last Night. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but they wrote this song called Sunrise. And when I was going through my whole anxiety thing and depression, I listened to that song, and their song was about bullying. And pretty much, like no matter how bad life gets and how sucky things get, you can make it to the sunrise, and that's part of their lyrics. And at the end of the song, it says, "I won't go to my grave until a difference is made," and I thought that was like one of the coolest quotes I've ever read. And it was an actual quote from the movie Bully. And so I reached out to them to see if they wanted to do an interview, and wasn't expecting a message back, because they have 500,000 likes on Facebook. So I'm like, these guys will never get back to me. 2 days later, got back to me and said they'd be down for an interview.
That's awesome.
Got in touch with their manager, and he said next time they're in the area, just message him and we'll set it up. So I have an interview planned for them, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about music, but I'm gonna ask them mainly more about their personal life growing up and maybe the struggles that they've had, and why they wrote Sunrise and what influenced them, and the struggles they went through in life to get the band to where it's at. And I'm looking really forward to that. Some other things I'm doing, I've had some parents reach out and want me to come speak at schools, which I think's rad. I've always wanted to do something like that, but me being nervous a lot now, especially more than ever, it's nerve-wracking, but it's definitely something I want to give a shot and try doing.
Well, at least you have experience being on a stage.
Yeah, exactly. And what's weird is that's when my anxiety when I was in the band went away. Is as soon as I stepped on stage, it kind of everything goes away, and your focus has to be on what you're doing, or it's gonna look dumb. But
I've always been afraid of public speech, but like I've never had to like do it, so I don't know how I'd be in that situation.
Yeah.
But like you said, like, because when I was filming you guys, like, I just focused on what I was doing, not to everybody else.
And that's how it was. Even when I was playing, I didn't even realize how many people were in the room, and we'd go from playing little shows in town to playing these massive shows, and it was like you had to pull yourself together. And that's kind of how I feel like I'm going to have to be when I give these speeches, because I'm not playing a guitar anymore. I'm speaking, and I'm trying to impact a group of people. And I've actually been writing kind of like seminar ideas in my head at school. I have my iPhone, and I'll sit there and be on that all day, and I'm actually on my iPhone way too much now with the Positive Life. I mean, I read everybody's messages. I respond to everybody's messages, and I try to. Sometimes it takes me a little while to get back, but
doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that you care. I mean, I could easily ignore everybody and ignore their problems, but that would be the complete opposite reason of why I started this.
Yeah, you just gotta ignore the haters.
Yeah, haters are gonna hate. And you're gonna have haters in whatever you do.
There's haters for haters.
Exactly. And I knew when I started this that I would get negative feedback, and I've gotten some that.
Like, do you get a lot or no?
Not a whole lot, but I'll get the occasional, why you're just doing this for yourself, why you're just trying to be a show off, and maybe that's the way they look at it, but I'd like for them to come over to my house sometime and see how anxiety really affects my life, because I have to ask a million times every day if people think I'm going to die, because I am so worried about it. And I've never been like that my whole life, so it's definitely been a freaky thing, and it kind of sucks when you have to come home and read something like that when you're trying to make a difference in everybody else's life and you're trying to help. So
yeah,
I don't know. It hurts a little bit. I take everything really personally, though.
Yeah, you'll learn not to real quick.
Yeah.
Now, what do you see for the future for Positive Life? Like, where it's going to go, where you want it to go, things of that nature?
I really want to reach out to as many people as I can. And I want to do so without annoying everybody. I know I post a lot, and I invite people to like a bunch of stuff, and I always post blogs, but that's just something I'm passionate about, and I think everybody that has a passion should be respected for that, and people should support each other. And
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing your filming thing, and I think that's awesome, and I wish more people would reach out to you, and I bet you feel the same way, and I bet a lot of people in the world feel the same way, and they probably have passions that really get swept under the rug, and that's exactly why I also made Positive Life, because I'm tired of seeing that kid sitting alone at school eating lunch by himself, and that kid getting bullied, and the kid that wants to listen to metal music, not having that many friends because they have this passion but no one realizes it, and no one supports them for that, and they feel alone, and that sucks. I mean, I went through the same thing, and
that's why I like the whole Positive Life thing, because that's like the main thing. It's like, even if you have ambition and you have what's the word I'm looking for, like, you have ambition and you have a skill and things that you're trying to do, As long as you have people that are supporting you, and you just have to stay positive. Like, I've been doing film for 8 years. I could have given up 100 times by now, but it's just staying positive and keeping at it. That's the main thing. Just keep at it.
Exactly, and that's the sad part about life is we're so consumed with ourselves and money and getting a good job, and we forget, we have all these people that are around us that could use support
Mhm.
and could use the encouragement to do what they love to do. And I've never been one that's like been money driven or career driven. I've always been, what could I do to change the world? What can I do to make a huge impact and make myself happy at the same time?
So that's
And
how I feel like with like money. Like, I hate money, but like, you have to have money to do whatever you want.
exactly,
And
I feel the same way.
like, I just want
and
money to then help people with that
yeah,
money.
yeah, and one of the
Philanthropy.
ideas I had for Positive Life actually was I'm thinking about making T-shirts and stickers, and I'm gonna use my own money towards it to get the shirts out, and then I'm gonna charge. I don't know how much I'm gonna charge from yet. Make my money back. So just my money back. I just want to make the money I put in the T-shirts back, but then use the proceeds from that to just randomly surprise somebody that that could use that money towards something that they love to do.
That's a really good idea.
Um, so, and I want to obviously use you and have you come film it so people know that I'm not just hoarding this money that they've sent me, that I'm actually going out and giving it to somebody that could really use it for something they love to do. Like
You could
maybe if
probably
someone
even
wants to,
set up a donation page too.
that'd be awesome, and that's what I'm thinking about doing. And I want to be able to go find that kid that can't afford the guitar and wants to be in a band and give him money towards that, or give a kid a skateboard that it's always wanted to skate, or just set somebody up with a camera that wants to go take pictures because they love photography or love to take videos. So I think that's something cool that I would love to do in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I'd love to help you with that and filming everything. Like, I'm all for and on board
Yeah,
with this.
you're my filmer so far. You're the only one I got. So Adam Krieger, everybody, check him out. Check his videos out.
They're not that good. Well, some of them are, but
They're hilarious. I don't even care. I watched them all. But I don't know. I just feel like the world's in a kind of a high buy generation that we don't take the time to really, sit down and talk to people and get to know them and, ask them how they're doing and how's everything going. And
yeah, because everybody's just so self-obsessed.
I don't want to say that in a negative way, but it
No,
looks like that. It
right.
appears to be that. Yeah,
Like,
and I know what you
everybody
mean.
should be a little self-obsessed, but to the point where
Yeah,
it's all about you and you shove other people out or don't even take the time with other people.
and I think people might see me like that sometimes, but I've always been kind of shy and nervous, and people will be like, "Oh, I don't buy that for a second. You've always been loud,"
Yeah, you've always been upbeat and fun. Like,
and people see that, but it's like I'm so nervous that that's just what comes out. And like in high school, I was always like the upbeat, funny one, and jumping around and being funny in school. But I'd go home and I wouldn't hang out with anybody over the weekend, and I was always depressed because my friends were out at parties and I didn't feel comfortable being at parties, and that's just a lifestyle for some people, and it wasn't for me. I always had these kind of secret passions that I was trying to focus on, and I was always into like comic books, drawing, and I was always sitting at home doodling in my sketchbook or playing guitar or going to shows, and that was kind of my escape. And I felt like the things I like to do didn't relate to the people I was around. But I obviously had a lot of good friends that supported me, but it just wasn't their cup of tea. And like, I don't know, it kind of made me feel less. And that's another reason why I started Positive Life, was because I just feel for that kid, that sits every day and feels neglected or feels weird for loving to do something that maybe not everybody in high school wants to do or has that same passion. I mean, I know for you, I mean, you looked up to Kevin Smith, obviously. I mean, he's probably a big motivator for you, and for people that don't know Kevin Smith, Clerks, Mallrats. But
Actually,
hey,
Steve Jobs is one of my big motivators.
really,
Yeah,
just
just
why don't
doing
you
something different.
elaborate on that?
Huh?
Let me change the questions up on you. Why don't you elaborate on that?
He's just a really big influence, like, just for the fact that he thought of something different and did it. And
Exactly.
just the innovation that man had, and just a brilliant mind. Brilliant mind. I'll never, I'll never compare. I already know that, but like, I don't know. I look at Kevin Smith at the ease, and I just love his movies.
Yeah,
But like
and
the way his career went, and how easy it was, and how he always says like, if I can do this, anybody can do it.
that's how life should be. It sounds cliche, but you know, you don't have to have 10,000 Facebook likes on your band page to be a good band. Likes don't make you a good band. A good
No.
band, works their butt off, plays good shows, and is passionate about music, and that's what I've always felt about the things I was passionate about. Skateboarding, for instance. I couldn't do a kickflip for 4 or 5 months, and I wanted to quit so bad, and I just stayed motivated and finally got it. And I still skateboard today. It's always a good stress reliever. Can't right now because it's like -15 out, but
I know.
that's just always something I love to do. And I wish more people would have stuck around with it, but everybody kind of grew up and did their own thing, and I always stayed loyal to the things I liked and the people that were in my life. So
That's how I am too, man. But all right, I think we should end on that note.
sounds good. One thing I would also like to talk about
All right.
is kind of the growth of positive life. I don't want to feel like people have to necessarily go out of their way to, spread the word, but if you
Yeah,
could.
I was gonna ask about that because it's grown a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, crazily. I started it, and I started adding people one night while I was having an anxiety attack, actually. I was nervous, so I was on the computer, kind of heavy breathing, didn't feel well, felt nauseous, and I was like, oh man, I just want to add these people and go to bed. So I did that, added them, went to bed, woke up, had like 300 people, kind of blew my mind, and then in less than a week, I think we had 1,000. So it's been crazy, and I hope it continues to grow, and I hope people continue to spread the word about it, or invite their friends to like the page or check out the blog, share the blogs, and hopefully, I would like to hear from other people and hear their stories and hear what they have to say, and I want to post those on the blog, and because I don't think people realize that the hardships they went through. Somebody else in this world probably went through something similar and may need to talk to somebody about it, or may need to hear what you have to say, to feel okay.
Right.
And for me and my anxiety, this page has helped me tremendously because I've gotten messages from a bunch of beautifully awesome people that are just like, I went through something like that as well, and I want you to feel like you're not alone. And that was the best thing I could hear, and it made me feel like I'm not the only one suffering through this, and I'm not alone in the world. And I think that was the biggest reliever for me. I still have my up and down moments, but I always know that I have these people that I can go to talk to, and that's the cool thing. And that's positive life in a nutshell. I'm setting people up to meet other people that you can relate to. And if you're from California, you can come to this page and you can meet somebody and grow a relationship. I met my girlfriend through Skype. Anything's possible, and she's here with me today. Anything's possible. So
Yeah, realistically, like anybody in the world could go and like it and be a part of it.
exactly,
It's
and
not a local thing; it's global.
and touching on Lauren's blog. Obviously suicide does exist, and there are people in this world that feel alone, and that really runs through my head a lot
Yeah, like
more than it used to.
I just read that thing about that 9-year-old that hung himself for being bullied.
Yeah, and that kills me every day because there's no reason for that. There's absolutely no reason for that.
Especially, like, I just didn't even think a 9-year-old would even think about that.
and the sad part is that they had to feel so bad about themselves to do that.
I know.
And that's why this is why I made this. I made this because I want that kid that feels like they have nobody left to be able to come to this page and feel like, somebody in this world cares about me. Somebody in this world gets what I'm going through. And I'm probably the most accepting person in this world. I'm willing to talk to anybody. I've sat up till 3 in the morning on a school night chatting with 9 different people already. I mean, and I love it. I mean, I might not get back to you right away. If I'm tired, I might send, "Hey, I'll get back to you in the morning," but I want to talk. But
I'm the
I
same way. I mean, unless you're negative or just being an asshole, then fuck off.
yeah,
But
exactly.
anybody usually, I don't mind shooting the shit with.
Yeah, for sure. And
Especially
that's
with
pretty
like
much.
filming, I'm always shooting out like, hey, if anybody wants to be a part of it, I'm filming today. I need these
And that's
people.
how, yeah, and that's what the world needs to be more like. They need to be more willing to, care about other people and, provide something for other people and give back. And that's what I'm trying to do, I guess, in a way.
I'm exactly the same way. But all right, well, we'll end it there. I think this is running like about half an hour, maybe 40
Yeah, sounds
minutes.
good.
But
Um,
yeah, I want to thank Austin for coming on and talking about positive life, and we'll have you back in a couple weeks when we get like the actual podcast going and not just me and you on a Skype call.
Sounds good. I
But
appreciate it, man.
yeah, thanks, man.
No
All right.
problem. Take care.
And that's about it for this podcast. So stay tuned. In the next couple weeks, we'll have more out. And yeah, see you guys.